Alright, out of the sci-fi Ratchet and Clank into something more mystical, shall we say. This is the start of the Darksiders series, something that comic book writer and artist Joe Madureira, or Joe Mad for short, created in the early 2010s. This was one of the big flagship new IPs that the old THQ created, and after it went bankrupt, the IP was acquired by the Nordic Games group, which then rebranded THQ Nordic, which is part of the Embracer group. And thanks to them, we have this War Mastered edition, quote unquote, that is basically the original game just upscaled and running a bit better, basically. There's a
Yes,
lot to talk about them, but again, this first part will be just about the game's prologue, because one of the things that you'll be you'll be noticing a lot is that, unfortunately, most of these games tend to be on the slow side. They really want you to absorb. Thankfully, they don't give you the obligatory walk slowly sequence all the time, but the default speed is not particularly high, is what I mean.
What does anisotropic mean?
It's a type of texture filtering, as the options basically said. It basically encodes the textures so that the borders are less jagged and stuff like that. Prologue.
Since the dawn of time, the armies of
this takes a cue mostly from the Bible, particularly the Book of the Apocalypse, or as it's called in English, Revelations. But it puts a bit of a spin with these things. The Charred Council, a set of three stony heads, who basically serves as mediator between heaven and hell. You might be asking, where is God in all of this? Beats me. They do mention him a couple of times, like the creator, but he seems to be missing in action some kind. Not dead, but possibly asleep. And the four horsemen of the apocalypse are at the command of the council, although the origin story is different from the one from Revelation.
So basically, they're the closest thing we have to a voice of reason with God, basically MIA.
Seems to be, at least for the premise. The truth of the matter is obviously more complex.
The kingdom was named the Kingdom of Man. By order of the council, a truce.
So, the idea is that humanity was born from chaos, and according to the Charred Council, they will actually be very important for the end times, and they will be sealed with, of course, 7 seals. You know, the ones from Apocalypse. And once the 7th one will be broken, all the horsemen will be summoned, and the end times will officially begin. So let's see what happens when things get fucked.
They weren't already? Because Jesus.
No, sorry, Jova, he's not here either.
You know, honestly, that would be interesting. A game where you have to play as Jesus while looking for God and maintaining the world balance.
I get the idea they wanted to avoid mentioning the Big G and his son, in order to avoid potentially, angering up a lot of religious people. At least that's my guess. Yeah, we started New York City.
I'm sorry, we seem to have stepped into a Final Fantasy CGI movie.
Sorry, Joe, but I think the entirety of the United States is fucked with a bunch of meteor showers.
Meteor clusters hit the Earth. They begin evacuating citizens. You're a bit late for that in this city.
But they're not just
oh no,
meteor.
It's the Black Arms!
Kinda. They're basically the start of the end times with angels and demons fighting each other.
So is this like Castlevania Lords of Shadows 2, where basically we have mystical stuff that happens to be taking place in a modern city as well?
Yes, but you'll be seeing, starting from the second part, where they try to put again their own spin into things. And the angels are very, very armored, even though it doesn't do much. Well,
I see the angels took some cues from Warhammer 40k. Shame they missed the part about being resilient against the demons.
They resemble more StarCraft soldiers, but again, the Space Marine archetype itself can be traced back to Starship Troopers, and I mean the original book.
Screw this boss in particular!
And this is where our player character for this game shows up. One of the 4 horsemen, the teacher, for at least the original version of the game, War. Voiced by Liam O'Brien. So of course he's my favorite.
So do we get to play as all 4 of the horsemen or just this
The idea
guy?
is that each game lets you control one of the horsemen, and then the final one will have you finally have all of them, you know, being playable. But I'll have to tell that story another time. For now, just a tutorial. Interestingly enough, you get an achievement, you can decide to actually destroy one of the helicopters on air for a specific move. Weird. So how's the gameplay? God of War. No, really, that's basically it. One of the key components of the Darksiders game is that, despite the aesthetic trying to do its own kind of thing, the key gameplay takes cues for something else. So there's barely an original body to their body, although I would argue it's fine enough. Critics of the time, like Yancy, decried this as just, you know, a cheap cash grab, wanted to cash in on the franchise, but I argue it stood the test of time much better than other games as a result. Again, this one in particular takes cues mostly from God of War, but the level structure, as you will see, takes more inspiration from, of all things, the original Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Okay, not on my bingo list.
Again, you'll see due time, but again, much like in all the hack and slash of the time, you have the standard, you know, heavy attack, light attack, transformation into a big guy for you, you know. But the game also gives you a few tricks up your sleeve, I would say. Yeah.
Don't tell me you can attack civilians.
Yes, potentially. The idea is that it's the end times, the horsemen are here to judge everyone. Also, they have trained a golem for some reason.
So I guess that begs the question, what exactly are we doing here? Just attacking anyone in sight and that counts as judging them, or something more?
It's worth noting that it will be mentioned in the next part. War is having a bit of trouble with his memories. For now he's just registering the input of end times are here, slaughter everyone, and let the Char Council sort them out.
That's the thing. Apparently we're attacking even the angels, so something's going. Damn. So
it's worth noting that while there are good and bad, you know, alignments, that doesn't necessarily reflect both the sides, you know, in this conflict.
You must judge everyone, even yourself.
I think the messed up thing is that it's not even them necessarily attacking us. Like the demons, sure, they attacked us, but the angels and humans, no.
Oh no, they were doing it. Again, I just managed to kill them because this is a tutorial, but you'll see soon enough that the angels have absolutely no problem trying to blast war. Right now, they mostly have just their priorities, you know, different.
So Johnson, what's your pitch? Well, you see, sir, I want to have us play as this big burly guy who attacks using swords with chain, and he happens to be the horseman of the apocalypse known as War. What, so like he's a god of war? Yes, something like that.
Honestly,
I can't think of anything else like that. Go ahead and go through.
My favorite comment on the matter was again from the Yahtzee Zero Punctuation review, where he basically summed up the character design of this, which I'm a fan of, so don't let what I'm about to say let you think that I actually don't like it, but it is true. Is that the school of thought for this game from Joe Madureira, as true for anyone who worked at Image Comics when you get down to it, is that someone started making a design and they never fucking stopped.
I do see it. He's got a lot of design cues. He looks like he came out of a Blizzard game in some regards,
detailed.
too.
If anything, this is one of the occasions where the remaster just needed to upscale the existing texture, and the end result could look something that could have come out, say, in 2015. Yeah, there's a lot of inspiration also from Blizzard, like I said, also stuff like StarCraft. It would be more apparent with the second Darksiders, because that one takes a lot more cues from Diablo and Warcraft.
Weapons of Law Season 3, that sounds like it's gonna be big.
I did not like the reboot. Well, the number 2 was actually better. I mean, they gave the protagonist a child sidekick for free. Come on.
I know, they never seem to learn it doesn't work unless you are unless it's practically planned from the get-go.
Or it's intentional parody like Last Action Hero. Oh. Well, that was my kill.
Thanks.
That was very rude of you.
A literal kill steal.
Also, here's, if I recall correctly, I'm showing here. Yeah, eaten 2, eaten again. But still, I love the fake posters for movies. That was actually a thing that we kind of lost at this point. Even Infamous 2 and GTA did tended to have them, so I guess this one took inspiration from those.
I still want Chow in space, damn it.
Yeah. I do notice that for a game that's, from what I understand, not too high budget, there's a lot of background details here.
It also has its way to have comedy weaved into it. It's just that it makes sure that the main story stays serious instead of being farcical, which I appreciate.
So, in a way,
War is not the kind of horseman that quips every 2 seconds, with a funny line. He's very serious on the job.
So in a sense, it sounds like this is kind of on par with Resident Evil's tone. Like, the plots are serious, but there's a lot of corny and funny stuff there in the background when you get down to it.
This way, Droba. Starting for the second part, we will meet a character that will definitely make you say, oh, this is the dedicated comedy relief that's still fucked up kind of character. You'll see.
And you'll know it's serious if they kill him or her off.
Again, you'll see.
Is this what's going to happen if we don't win the World Cup?
I'm afraid to tell you, but despite the football/soccer industry being particularly predominant in the world, we don't really control our afterlife, or at least I hope so.
Also, not only that, also, not only that, Dwibs, but no offense, isn't your country kind of infamous for losing soccer games off of penalty kicks?
Yeah, say the line, Dwibs.
That's the thing, though. That we've won a couple of them recently.
Well,
so something has managed to come home.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Although that's the thing, though. In terms of our women's game, you guys can't mock me for that.
Oh, well, again, I don't particularly have a lot of sympathy for my country's team either, so really I don't worry about me having some sort of, patriotism on the matter. Alright,
also, James, don't forget,
you can also grab objects like car and toss them around.
Beautiful. Wow, okay, I feel like somebody may have seen... Now I'm getting Shadow the Hedgehog. This reminds me of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hit the second tower, Shadow.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, no, I'm getting basically Shadow the Hedgehog, God of War, World of Warcraft vibes all mixed into one with this, which really just make me wonder if, like, somebody just took a look at the games industry and decided, let's just throw everything into a mixing pot.
Even the lockup is very akin to the one from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Someone was a fan of the N64 Zelda game.
Nice.
And yeah, you will also have the execution if you manage to weak enough of an enemy. For the smaller ones, of course, it will be by default, but on the bigger ones you need to soften them up. We would like to talk about, the changes in editions when it comes to Darksiders 2. One sad thing about it is that a lot of the cutscenes are locked still in 30 frames a couple of times, and for reasons that I don't understand, a lot of times the audio mix-up just is weird, where the music is a bit lower on the side, but the audio is actually up there, so I had to balance in editing, and I cannot guarantee that the end of the end result is still, listenable enough. For the time being, the angels still are very sucking at their job. Goddamn.
I could help, but no, I need to aura farm.
Yes.
Impossible. Abaddon.
Oh.
What is this?
Oh.
I guess the big guy with the eye patch is called Abaddon.
Final seal.
I swear, Abaddon, a lot of media tends to flip-flop on whether or not they consider Abaddon an angel or a demon.
We'll see. For the time being, he's
How did
just
this happen?
not doing a good job either. My god, what is happening?
Like, dude, your
Here,
lieutenant
the
there
second
has to pick up the slack.
Uriel, that's her name. I think she's voiced by Moonblood in this game.
The seventh
Sorry, what's her name?
Uriel.
Moonblood good.
Orion.
Pretty awesome sounding name.
L at the end, Jorah. Uriel.
Uriel.
What in
Yeah,
hell?
I recognize that name, too.
She's very pretty.
answer the call.
Yes, I see they made
Williams
this...
in Terminator Salvation.
Yeah. So yeah, this is still one of the bigger demons that you'll eventually have to deal with later, because the point of this tutorial is that you're kinda getting sapped of your powers at the beginning. This is Straga, voiced by Troy Baker.
Of course.
This was in the time period where Troy Baker was voicing almost everything with no problems whatsoever. I mean, he's still doing, but there's the whole thing about having quote-unquote standards, so there's that.
And higher
Oh.
pay, basically.
Oh no, the poor woman. Moonblood good. Not only was she in Terminator Salvation in 2009, the same year she was in Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li.
Yep.
Wow. So basically, her video game career went a lot better than her film career
I
around
mean,
the
she
time.
did, if I come to she did voice...
This is the most recent game she's done.
Yeah, I think she also
Oh.
voiced their character counterpart in the Terminator Salvation video game.
So, okay, if this was the last video game she did her film career get any better? Also, this guy's literally tilting us like a pinball table.
Well, she
Yeah.
hasn't had a credited role since 2024.
I mean, it's still fairly recent.
Yeah. Especially if she's working on like a film project that's taking a while.
So yeah, as a first boss, Straga is fairly doable, as you can see, easily to read patterns, just wait until the car shows up, throw it into his face and keep going.
Behold the power of Toyota, able to conquer demons.
I mean, Jova, as we established in Twister, you know, instead the vehicle that they used
Ford.
there, yeah, that was very sturdy.
You know, that would be one of the most amazing car commercials in any bout of media. You use a specific car company, labeled car, to defeat the hordes of hell.
I mean,
How's that for an advertisement?
sure, taste the taxi.
Yes, enjoy taxis while they're around before Uber does them in.
Is this what happens if Uber gets too much power? They start sending these things out, and their intent was only to destroy all taxis that weren't Ubers,
Damn.
but it got out of hand.
Taxi
Somehow that
mafia
would
is
not
bigger than
be-
it thought.
Somehow that would not be the biggest surprise of this year.
And then the CEO of Uber runs out. It's like, no, it wasn't supposed to be like this. Stop! I created you, and then gets smushed.
Of course, that's usually how it goes.
It's like that. I saw that film. I saw a film recently called Reptilian, and one of the characters in that movie meets his fate the same way, with some of the most hilariously hammy acting I've ever heard.
Also,
No,
yes, similar to
it
God of
wasn't
War.
real!
Similar to God of War, and also by mutilation. Unfortunately, whatever's doing that sapping the War's powers leaves us like this. Uh-oh. Well, you gotta move. Oh.
Backhand.
Has been broken.
You don't say.
And so have you, horse.
Ha ha ha, very funny. I hope you're good at parties. And unfortunately, we're too weak now and War died. What a short game.
Okay,
Well,
Laura.
that was Darksiders.
Okay, War. Sirs Rap told me how this goes. Get to climbing.
Do you want my final thoughts first?
Sorry, Dweebs. We'll have to see, what the credits or the epilogue are in the next part. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.